All right, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last SPFBO or SPFBO9 blog introduction. That does not mean I'm not going to be doing any more lives with authors, just the introductions to SPFBO authors. I have a combined live going on with Bookborn blog and Covers with Cassidy blog authors. Welcome. I'm so excited to meet all of you. I know we're short a few people, so if you're watching and you're like, oh, what's going on in the tab? We're still trying to bring a few people on. Hopefully, we can work through any technical stuff and bring them on. But we are going to definitely dive in. So while we get started, would you guys like to tell us a little bit, hey AF, a little bit about who you are, what kind of fantasy you write, because there's a lot of different genres of fantasy in SPFBO this year, and what book you entered for SPFBO?
Oh,
Well, shall we give it a start? Well, we are the author team, Elena Nikitin. My name's Mark. This is Olga. We write, I suppose it's sort of fantasy romance, but it's
no, it's
more
rather
epic fantasy with a
with
fun.
romance. So we started from we want to write some epic fantasy, but as soon as we start doing the world building, it progressed in such a majestic world with so many places, so many races, so many point of views that actually it's more close to the proper epic fantasy with a strong element of romance than a fantasy romance you would expect to find. And the book
Don't forget detective as well. We crossed a few genres. Unfortunately, we got a little bit overexcited, and really, it was our first book, so we got a little overexcited and just bought into it what we wanted to see, basically.
And what we mean by the first book, it's a very first book. So it's
Our debut novel, yeah.
Exactly. It's our debut novel. We had no idea what we're doing. We have no formal education in writing or, like a creative literature. Because I'm a doctor by trade, Mark is engineer, but we did a lot of role playing in our life. We play D&Ds and all sorts of stuff. And at some point we decided that it would be a very good idea to actually put all of our stories, our creativity in a book. And we wanted to start from one book, and somehow we wrote the series. So here you have us. And our entry is this one. It's Autumn Chaos. So it's the first book in a series. And it tells the story about of Ina, very mature mage. So you don't find any teenage angst there. The woman is 40 years old. She has education, life experience, and a lot of stuff going on with her background that make her exile in the place called the Black Forest. Because I have to mention that all of our this series is based on the Slavic mythology. So if you're thinking about the Slavic paganism, about the religion monsters, something you not often see in English worded fantasy, that's what you can find in our books. I'm a Polish by origin, so I claim as much of my heritage in the books as I could.
And I'm Cornish, and I snuck some little tidbits in there as well. So if you do actually spot anything that you recognise about Cornwall, then well done you, because I was very sneaky about it.
So that was our collaboration, and as I said, the book tells the story mainly from the female point of view. However, as I said, it's a proper epic fantasy. So we have a third person multi POVs, and two of our other main characters are like a proper, well, not boys, proper men.
Yes, mature men who like to who know who they are and feel comfortable in their skins. It is a mature novel, so the people in it have mature views.
Exactly, and you can expect a lot of battle scene. His responsibility mainly. Mark, he's ex-military and he plays a lot of medieval reenactment. So what
plays? Oh,
yes,
really? I used to do medieval reenactment, and I actually did some stunt work for TV as well. So been there, and I know what works.
Exactly. So when we have a battle, when we have the fighting montage, it's very close to their realism as much as you can assume. When it comes to the magical system, a story building, and the romance itself, it's mainly me. So I produced all the female elements in the books, and our magical system is quite unique because it's actually based on science and on
Try
the.
not to share too much, so that it's only an introduction.
Okay.
And give Aaron a chance to speak.
Sorry, I'm chatting.
Got lost,
Yeah.
overexcited. Like I said,
The links are in the description box, though. So for both your book and Aaron's book, and everybody else's book who's scheduled for this live. So if anybody wants to grab it, start reading it, they definitely can.
Exactly.
And I've read Aaron's. It's very, very, very good, and we're worried that we're definitely going to lose to him. So.
Oh no!
I'm still here. Oh wow! I didn't realize anyone would have read it here. So
definitely read it. It's an amazing book. So yeah. So.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Aaron, tell us about it. Tell us about what you write.
So well, I'll start with me. I'm Aaron Hodges. I'm from New Zealand. I currently live in Argentina, and I've been writing for what year is it? 8 years now. So I think that my SPFBO book this year, Darkstrider, is my 25th book, and I've started to try different genres, escaping the traditional epic fantasy where I started, but still trying to stay very strongly within the genre as well. So my book's about a young man who awakes in another world. He has no memory of who he is or how he came to be there. Only that waking up in a cave while naked is probably not the most normal situation to start off life in. And he finds that he's in a cave with a bunch of discarded objects, and it seems like the prior occupants of the cave weren't the most clean or civilized of people. And he soon finds out they've just come back with a bunch of prisoners, and they're a little bit surprised to find a naked man riffling through their belongings. Mikkel, who's the main character, kind of takes it in his stead and manages to. He attempts to talk them into leaving him alone with a bit of quick talking and connery, but it eventually all the other characters get involved. It's very much a bit of a taking bits and pieces of European, medieval, Scottish, English heritage. I'm New Zealander, but I'm originally, my family generations ago came from Scotland and Ireland, and I believe my grandfather's ancestors were from Cornwall. Not that I've ever been. I've been to the Elan Donna Castle in Scotland, which was the McRae family was my heritage there. So it brings in, there's the Highlands. The whole first book is set in the Highlands. This world operates with a slightly different magic system. It's more progression based. Most people are normal mortal people, but people who have done participate in a significant event or done something that the gods, judges, world changing, or have experienced extreme trauma, sometimes they manifest an essence which they can absorb, and which sets them on a path of progression. They're called pathfinders, and they start off at copper rank, and as they train and strengthen themselves and become stronger and have revelations about themselves and the world, they can advance up. I think the highest person in the book is a gold ranker, and he outclasses just about everybody, and he could take on 20 men by himself, whereas Mikkel and other pathfinders may maybe struggle to take on one. And as the world progresses, you find out that Mikkel, being an off-worlder, is part of the legends of this world, and not a very good part. So off-worlders in the past have been known to cause world wars and mass genocide and all sorts of destructive things. So there's a few people that are not very pleased with him being around, and he sort of has to negotiate that along with finding his own place in the world and trying to recover his memories as well. And there's a few other things going on in the background that twist and turn on the way as well.
Yeah. I love all the world building, and I'm still having trouble bringing people on. So we may have to do a follow-up interview with these people who are missing. I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay.
If they're watching on YouTube. Sorry, you guys. But yeah. So is this your first time doing SPFBO for both of you?
It is for us, yeah. This is this is why we used our debut novel, because I don't think it would have made much sense to use for because we're only just finishing the series in July. The last book will come out in July. We didn't think it would make much sense to put any other sort of books forward. So we went with our first book, debut novel, and and kept it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Hope for the best, and then we realized all the little learning issues that we had with the first book are now being seen by some people with a lot of talent, and we're like, very nervous.
That happens. No, this is, I think,
You've been in a lot of these, right?
Yeah. I think the best one I had was Oathbreaker. I think it was my third series I wrote. That was years ago in 2018 or 2019. In SPFBO, and I think they put it at the second or third. It didn't make it through to the next round, unfortunately, but the cover did win. I think it won the cover contest.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
The controversial cover contest.
Oh yes, the very controversial one this time. Yeah.
Yes. So Aaron, in your experience, because we've had a lot of newbies on these panels this year, including myself, how has this year's competition shaped up compared to previous years? Do you feel like this is going to be a harder year? Do you feel like the blogs are more aligned to the genre you write this year?
Well, I missed last year because I can't remember why. I forgot that I had a new book that I could have entered. I didn't think I had any that qualified. But yeah, it seems every year the blogs get more involved in the competition and more involved with the authors themselves, and the authors get more organized and more promoting the contest as a whole and everybody's work. So it's kind of cool. I remember when the first one I participated in, they had the Facebook group and there was a little bit of interaction, but there wasn't much going on other than that. All right, maybe I just wasn't paying attention. That happens as well.
I was quite impressed by how quickly the competition filled up. I think it was 40 minutes this year. It's like scary. Because it was took a couple of days last year, and then all of a sudden it's 40 minutes this year. So a lot of people wanted to be involved, didn't they? So.
Yeah, and then they had the I don't know what it was called. I should remember, but again, first year, that list for the people who joined a little late, just in case some of the books fell through or weren't a good fit. But yeah, so how are you?
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about the blog you're in? Have you been doing any lurking, or are you just sort of, my book is in, I'm not going to worry about it?
Oh, I'm a proper stalker. Sorry, I just love to see what's being said, what's going on. It's very much it's like looking at your champion horse in a competition. You just want it to win. You can accept whatever verdict, but you want to see how it's doing. And what's the competition? We want to read them. You want to see what's the other opinions. So yes, I follow several blogs just to see what's going on, what's the current likes, what's trendy. Do we have any chance, or maybe the fantasy romance is subgenre that is not considered very serious? So all of this, it just gets me thrilled. So.
And I'm completely the opposite. I just can't watch it. It's just too stressful. I have, however, been going through all the books and just picking and reading. And so I've done a lot more reading than usual over the last few weeks, but mainly to avoid looking at all the blogs and all the opinions of the book. So it's like, I don't want to know what they think of the book, because we know.
I tell him anyway.
Yeah, well, she tells me anyway, yeah.
I'm such an old hand at competitions. I remember even before I published anything, I remember entering the old Create Space writers competitions that Amazon was going to publish your book if you got in the top 10 and stuff like that. It was like 15 years ago or something. I entered, I follow the Facebook comments and stuff and keep in in touch with the promotions and these sort of interviews and things, but I haven't really. I probably need to drop in and see what books have been reviewed so far.
Yeah, I think on Mark's blog, so this, for people who are joining, this is your first of the panels. Mark Lawrence coordinates the self-published fantasy blog off every year, and I've got Mark's blog linked in the description box. But Mark is keeping track of which books have reviews officially. Someone's already put a semi-finalist forward, I believe. That's on there. But we were talking earlier today about how I think some of the blogs are getting ready to start cutting next week.
No, don't say that. No, cutting's bad. No cutting. No, everyone should be put forward.
But then isn't it Esme that's been talking about the ones that she's keeping? Started with her keep list first.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really intriguing just to see how everything's going, and really to be a part of the community, because I was not expecting this. I thought, oh, this is going to be like any other book contest. I'm going to upload my book, and then I'm not going to hear anything till the end, and they'll be like, you won or you didn't win. You know, and here it's like, nope, here's a family that came with your competition entry. Enjoy.
I have to admit, I've enjoyed chatting on the Discord a lot, and it's helped us learn, to be honest, and just things like marketing and how people view different books and different genres and how they market them. So it's actually been very helpful to talk to people that we normally wouldn't talk to, because of our genre. You know, you usually talk to people in your genre, and that's the only contact people you seem to have. So this has been wonderfully eye-opening. So it's been a pleasure to sort of be part of. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I need to get on the Discord. I think I am on the Discord. I just am really on Discord other than when I'm just fiddling with things.
So on all of these panels, we've been doing these for fun questions, and they aren't necessarily tied into the main theme of your book, but like pets and holidays. And we did yesterday, what was the villain's favorite memory, and today, what was the main character's favorite memory. But the one for your panel is to talk about what your main character's parents wanted them to be. And does that have any impact on the main character at the beginning of their story? You don't have to tell us whether or not they actually live up to it, but
well, I'll start with my favorite character, which is Ma. He is a warrior and a leader, and he has been groomed for it his entire life. So that's pretty much what his parents wanted for him. He sort of gets stuck in a rut just before the beginning of the book, and his encounter with Inna sort of breaks him out of that mold, and he then grows as a person, and it's becomes a much more interesting person, a more rounded person, not just that warrior and leader, but
yes, and Ina always been quite a disappointment for the family, because our magical system differentiates between something called the chaos magic and order magic. When chaos is considered primitive, so you tap into the raw magical energy, and it's very much an elemental form of magic. So that's her skill, that's her specialty. So she's like a bottom feeder of the magical hierarchy. Very powerful, but really unable to use it well without risking her sanity and stuff. So her parents wanted her to be a lady. She's highborn lady from the highborn house, and she wanted to be completely opposite. I think she follows her mother's footsteps, who was a little bit of rebel herself. So she had a morgantic marriage below her status. That's how Ina came to be. And when her mother died, her relative was trying to push her in this, prim and proper lady. You go to university, you will be trained in this. We know that your magic is not good, so you will train in some other discipline and trying to be perfect in it. And she's completely opposite. So she's like a little rebel that never grow up to be a proper person. And even if she's older, wiser, more life thought, she still had this very severe rebellious streak that often put her in troubles.
So yeah,
Great.
can't really reveal the rest.
Yes, parents always have some sort of secret relation in fantasy genre. Part of the twist.
All parents have dreams for their kids, right?
So my main character, Michael Heaton, is his parents. They probably wanted him to be a doctor or a scientist or something before one of them disappeared, and the other one had to help him on his mad quest to figure out what happened to his father. Which we'll explore more in book 2. Another one of my main characters with interesting relationship with his father would be Connor. He's the son of the Highland King, and he's being groomed as well to be the warrior and the next prince. And he's all excited to battle and training the other Highland kids how to fight and be a proper Highland warrior.
I like that.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting.
One of my favorites.
Interesting character. But we'll see how that goes for him as the books progress.
I think the only parental figure that actually was proud from who Ina was is her
great
aunt and the forest guardian Leshe, who taught her a lot of alchemy, helped her survive in the Black Forest when she was on exile. And actually he made her a woman. She's now very independent, self-sufficient, and with a very down-to-earth, gritty sense of humor. So if she cannot conquer it, she just laugh it off and walk away. And I think that's kind of the most mature approach to situations.
However, she can't help herself but get into trouble. So yeah, inherent part of her who she is.
Love it. So the next 5 months. I know this is what we don't want to think about, right? Although Aaron is a pro, so I might let you start, Aaron, and you can give us all your pro tips. But the next 5 months, while we are waiting to see who made it, who didn't make it, what's going to happen next? Are you doing writing? Are you going to be publishing? Are you going to be going to events? What is going to be keeping you busy in the writing world?
Well, in the writing world, I'm currently working on 2 projects at the moment. The first is the sequel to Darkstrider, which is going to be called Voidlight. I'm working on that right now, trying to get the first draft out by the end of the month. We'll see how that goes. Then the second project I'm working on is more of a kind of side vanity project, just for kind of fun. I'll kickstart it eventually, but as you guys are talking about Dungeons and Dragons, that's so cool. So I started playing maybe just under a year ago for the first time, and I've really enjoyed it. Like I was like, oh man, I should have been playing this a long time ago. I play a wizard, but I decided to, for fun in my free time, to convert one of my very first book, my very first series, and see if I can build a Dungeons and Dragons campaign out of it. So I've been converting the book into week by week into a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and playing that with a couple of other friends I've since introduced to Dungeons and Dragons.
We have a friend who does something similar with Magic and Gathering.
Magic the Gathering, the card game.
Yeah, he writes scenarios for that. So yeah, and I know how complicated it can be. To sort of put one together. It's like you see him pulling his hair out sometimes, and he's not got a lot left. He's a bit like me. I've got a lot left to start off with, but yeah, he finds it very satisfying. But yeah,
just had my group get to a big city that I'd prepared and thought it would take them like 2 or 3 sessions, and they just smashed their way through it in one session. Just like, and they're doing things I wasn't expecting at all. So,
those D20s.
I'm like, back to the drawing board.
Wait those dice.
Yeah. God. But yeah, that's been good fun. Those are my 2 main projects. I doubt I'll get an extra one in before the end of the year, but you never know. I might be extra productive. but that'll
Yeah,
keep me
Dungeons
busy.
and Dragons. If anybody's watching, you can hire Aaron to write a campaign.
Too right. Mm.
Oh, the last thing I'll be doing is next month I'm going to launch another Kickstarter campaign. So it's something else I've started doing lately. Is I don't know if everyone in the North community knows, but a lot of us are now, since Brandon Sanderson exploded the platform, running our own sort of Kickstarters. So next month I'm launching another Kickstarter for my third trilogy. I believe it is The Legend of the Gods, and I'm gonna create the special paper, a hardcover version. I've got the illustrations and everything for it, so it should be pretty cool.
That
Awesome.
sounds really good.
Yeah. I told somebody on was it a panel yesterday or the one before, it's just like I'm spending too much money on Kickstarter. But so looking forward to the book swag. So
Yeah.
So how about you guys? What are you going to be doing the next 5 months while you're waiting?
Well, like I said earlier, we have the fourth book in the series coming out at the end of July. It's with the editor at the moment. Final edit, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then out to the beta readers. But yeah, that's all.
So we have a Summer Veil that's coming on 28th of July. As I said, we are on the final project, on the final edits, and it's all nicely packed and ready. It's wrapping up our series because we go through the seasons, and actually we managed to release in the season, which I'm very proud of. So Summer Veil coming in summer. The next project, because we're working currently on two of them. First is a little bit different because it's a paranormal medical fantasy, and it's called The Magic and Medicine. It takes place in Gdańsk, so in the city I came from, and it's something just different. We wanted to jump off the big epic fantasy and do something more down to earth, modern, and for fun. And I'm hoping that it will be released at the end of September or the beginning of October. Depends how fast Mark will manage to edit it.
Yes, that is a thing.
Yes, and
so you are making it more epic than it needs to be. So it's a more epic urban. It's just like, oh my god, it's growing. It's growing bigger and bigger, and we're trying to keep it as down to earth as possible. But things keep happening.
Look, I've made a series out of it at some point.
we just can't stick to genres. We're terrible, absolutely terrible.
That's okay. Stephen King gets away with it, right? So.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're the next Stephen King, honest.
And the last book this year we wanted to release, it's a Royal Inspector, so it's a standalone spin-off from our Slavic verse. So it's in the same world building as Seasons War. It's just standalone, completely different people, different part of the world, and it's the story about a magician. Well, the mage that actually was doing some police work for the crown, and it has a strong romance vibe because I like it. So there we're going. That would be for Christmas because everybody likes romance for Christmas.
Yes, but we like I say, we do like cross genres, so there is a lot of detective work in it.
Mm-hmm.
We do like a little bit of mystery in our books, and it's
never straightforward.
It's never straightforward. Yeah. There's lots of twists and turns in it, so it'll be a lot of fun to read, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, it's been such a pleasure just to meet you guys, to hear about your books, just to chat a little bit. I'm sorry that we're missing some people, but hopefully we'll get a chance to chat with them maybe next weekend on the Blitz. So if you're watching and you want to meet more authors, next weekend is my annual Summer Blitz here on the YouTube channel. We this summer are going way above what we did last summer. We are having over 15 separate panels. We have over 40 separate authors who are going to be joining in a 3-day period to talk about their books and answer your questions live. So definitely subscribe and don't miss it because it's a whole lot of fun. And there will be some SPFBO authors there, but also some new indie authors who are not on SPFBO, who've never done interviews before. So excited to have them on. Thank you all. Good luck.
Perfect. Thank
you.
you so much, and thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Good luck, Aaron, this year, and I hope we see some other new faces make it into the semifinals. Take care, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Cheers.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.